Good morning. Can you hear me? Is it working? Working? Yes? Great. Okay, good morning, everyone. We shall start. Okay. Well, thank you so much for coming here today. So this is the event on capacity development for the ocean we want, perspectives from early career ocean professionals. So this event is brought to you by the UN Ocean Decade endorsed program for early career ocean professionals, which is called ECOP Programme. So this is basically a follow-up to the event that we had at the UN Ocean Decade conference in April earlier this year. We had a side event specifically on capacity development and the challenges that it has for early career ocean professionals. We had a great brainstorming exercise, and this is effectively a follow-up, a discussion that we would like to continue throughout our presence at conferences. So the UN Ocean Decade program for early career ocean professionals that I'm the coordinator of started in 2021. We got officially endorsed, and we have been working for more than 3 years already. So my name is Evgenia. I'm the coordinator of this program, and I will be moderating this event today. So with this event, we would like to invite you to brainstorm about capacity development. So not only for youth or ECOPs, not only in terms of trainings or workshops, but we also would like to invite you to think about what capacity development in general, what kind of new nuances on aspects we need to take care of and think of in order to achieve the goals of the UN Ocean Decades, in order to achieve the ocean we want. So this is really a very broad and versatile conversation, and we hope you'll like it. So we will start with a few presentations from our program, from our Asia node coordinators and Africa node coordinators, and then we'll have a panel discussion. So I will start with the overview of the program and the capacity development initiatives that we are having. So when we started, we had a global survey that we ran at the end of 2019, where we asked ECOPs what do they actually need, and of course capacity development and funding were top priorities. So this is why capacity development from the start has always been the top priority in our work. So on this slide you can see really some high-level numbers. So now we have more than 6,000 members. In our database, we started with just 300, so over 3 or 4 years, we really increased significantly. We now have our regional, we have our global newsletter, monthly newsletter that we send to more than 6,000 people. Our biggest social media channel is LinkedIn, where we have more than 11,000 people. So we really are about networking and providing meaningful networking, funding opportunities, and capacity development opportunities. As you see on the right side of this slide, we have also provided, thanks to the support of the IEC, UNESCO, and NORAD, we provided online trainings on ocean governance, MSP Blue Skills in 2022. Then we also cooperated with our partners. We are running webinar series. So we really would like to make sure that ECOPs have easy access to capacity development, and I will be diving into this a little bit further. So this is an overview of our structure. We have regional nodes, national nodes, and task teams. And we also have endorsed projects that we get under UN Ocean Decade calls for actions. So all our coordinators, either regional or national, they do strive to connect to stakeholders and understand what are the opportunities for capacity development in their country or region. And this is what they also aim to share with the ECOPs in their network. So this is a map with the current hubs that we have. in red you see countries where we have established coordinators, so where the nodes have been established. In yellow you have nodes with an appointment coordinator already, and in green we have nodes where there is already someone who would like to establish a node, so there is work in progress. We have really increased our presence a lot over the few years, and if you are from a country that is not on this list and would like to set up a node, please do come to talk to us, or come to talk to me after this event, because we are very welcoming new countries, and we would like to cover as many countries as possible. If you are from a country that is on this list but you don't know how to connect with your coordinators, I will be very happy to share with you how you can do that. So back to capacity development. In September 22, we started with our webinar series, and we thought that we will target as many different topics as possible, because some topics are very difficult to find. Like, we keep hearing that science communication is very important, and sometimes ECOPs want to learn something, but they don't really know how to find. So we were very open and flexible with these topics, and you can see that. You can see that these are really very versatile topics. So we were talking about UN ocean decade in Africa, ocean governance in 2022, underwater technologies, really very diverse topics. So if you would like to cooperate with us, we are very welcome. If you want to share your research, if you want to share the opportunities that you have within your organization, please do contact us, because we would like to highlight these opportunities and showcase your work or opportunities. This is what we are doing. So another initiative that we have been developing recently is cooperation with some of the main ocean data providers, so like EUMETSAT and Copernicus Marine Service, EMODNet, and with cooperation with the UN Ocean Decade Office for Data Sharing, we have come up with this ocean data webinar series. We started a few months ago with an introductory webinar, and we had another one in October on healthy and resilient ocean, and this is the next webinar that we will have in January. So the idea behind this series was that there is ocean data, and we tried to understand how this can be connected to ocean decade challenges. So this is basically a result of this effort to match ocean data and how you can find, where you can find ocean data, what you can do with ocean data, and how this can be applied for ocean decade challenges in order to tackle them. So here you can see the website where you can find the information. This is absolutely free, and if you are not able to make it, there will be also recording afterwards that we share on our social media. Then we have this long-standing cooperation with Ocean Teacher Global Academy. We started it in 2022, when again it was not that easy to travel. So we started it with webinars with actually real courses, online courses for ECOPs in Africa, because that was the initiative brought by our first Africa Node coordinator, Gabriela Koko-Juma, and that was made for ECOPs in Africa. It was absolutely free, it was online, and we had really a lot of interest, a lot of applications. So the first one was really very successful. It was held on the platform of Ocean Teacher Global Academy, and we really very much appreciate their support. So the webinars got these courses, they ran for several weeks and they got really very successful. So we had to do a second one. And then other regions came up to us and said that they want also to have these courses for them. So the reason why we cannot do like one global course is because even though it's online, students still have to attend those lectures at certain hours on certain dates. So it's really not practical to have one global one, so it will be too complicated. So we had to do one separate for Asia, and then Central America came up to us and said that they want also one for them, and we did that in Spanish. Because the language barrier is still a challenge there, so that was really a big breakthrough for them. So again, if you think that we should do a course on data analysis, data management in some other language, maybe from your country or your region, please do come to us so we can easily discuss it, and we are open really to cooperation and furthering our topics here. But mainly they have been on data analysis and data management. And then this week, last week we had our first in-person training again on oceanographic survey techniques and data analysis. It was our first in-person training in Malta last week. For a week, we gathered ECOPs from the Mediterranean Sea countries. I think it went very successfully, and we are really hoping to continue this cooperation. And a lot of thanks to Ocean Teacher Global Academy and Aquabiotech Group for hosting us in Malta. So this is just for your information. This is what we were teaching ECOPs last week in Malta. And then we have our databases. In our experience working with ECOPs and capacity development, I felt that there are basically two problems. So one is there are certain opportunities around on the internet, but sometimes it's very hard to find them. So we got a lot of emails by ECOPs asking us, how do I find a funding opportunity grant, or is there a course on this or that? So it's one problem. Like another problem is that, yes, there are certain gaps in topics. So we are trying to cover both. So if there are opportunities, we want to make sure that they are easily available on our website. So this is why we have set up this database for mentorship opportunities that is marked in green, that you can find on our website. Number two, database for opportunities. This is work in progress, and this will be launched before the end of this year. Then we also want to put up this global database of networks about ocean-related issues, and the stakeholder map with a pilot project for Japan that you will hear more details about in a few minutes. Right, so this is how you can get in touch with us. There is a group on ECOPs at the Ocean Decade Network forum platform. Please follow us, and if you would like to cooperate with us on anything, we are also looking for financial support for our coordinators and for our work. Please do come to talk to us in a moment or after this event. So I will stop here, and I will now switch to the work of our Asia node. And for this, I would like to invite here Kataro Tanaka. He's our Japan node coordinator. He will be presenting about the activities of our Asia node. Kataro is a research fellow at the Ocean Policy Research Institute of the Sasakawa Peace Foundation. So he's based in Japan and works for coastal management, including marine mammal conservation, fisheries, and implementation of new technologies. So welcome, Kataro.
Thank you, Evgenia, for your beautiful introduction, and thank you for having me in this very amazing session about ECOP program. As Evgenia introduced, I will be talking about ECOP Asia activity on the behalf of our distinguished regional coordinator of ECOP Asia, Rafael Roman, and then I will be speaking about ECOP Japan activity. So that you would be able to have some sense about what kind of activity that national node on the ECOP program is doing. If you have any question about ECOP Asia, I will try to answer those as much as possible. But otherwise, I will relay those questions to Rafael so that I will make sure that you will have an answer after all. So here is the overview of ECOP Asia landscape. As Evgenia mentioned, the ECOP program is exponentially expanding now. So we have 9 national nodes on the ECOP Asia regional node, more than 1,000 registered members spanning 35 countries. And we have dream team of around 30 core team members with several interns. And those core team members, those national nodes are having 3 symposiums, 3 trainings, and many workshops and webinars, so that everyone is contributing to this capacity building and other activities on the this ECOP Asia regional node. We also have one working group on dedicated ocean literacy field in Asia. And since different countries are using different social media for their information dissemination, we are using several different kind of social media channel for our communication. And so far, we have been doing the online survey to assess the needs of what ECOPs are holding, what ECOPs are thinking in each national nodes. And we compile the needs that we assessed into 6 reports in each national node, and we published on our website. I will keep those 2024, 2025 ambitions and strategies on the latter part of my presentation. One keyword of our activity is this network of networks, because there are a bunch of amazing networks, amazing existing networks already in this region, not only this region, I mean globally. So what we are trying to do is try to connect, try to plug in those existing networks each other so that we can create larger picture of the network so that ECOPs in Asia, ECOP in the world can connect each other. In that context, what we are trying to create now, what we are trying to launch now is the interactive ocean stakeholder map that you can see on the right-hand side. So on this website, this is a conceptual image of this interactive ocean stakeholder map. But so on this web page, you can see the pin, you can see the location of the organization which is relating to, which is working for either or both ECOP program or UN Ocean Decade. So if you want to see the specific organization in each country or sector or topic, you can filter those information so that you can easily go to find those organizations that you want to see the detail. And we are trying to complete this stakeholder map by the end of this year. That is our plan. Here is a list of examples of capacity development programs in ECOP Asia. I won't go through one by one, but I just wanted to show you that there are numerous number of capacity development programs running in ECOP Asia, and many of them are run by several, different countries, because they are the ones who know what kind of capacity development program is needed in each national node. So we are relying on them to design their own capacity development program. At the same time, we have several development capacity programs in regional level, so that we can mingle together and put what we learned onto the table and share what is the unique value, what is the common challenges, and so on. Of course, here is UNFCCC COP29, so I will touch on the climate-related activity in ECOP Asia too. So out of the online survey that we carried out, and based on the results of all those online survey, we identified several capacity development priorities for ECOPs in Asia, as you can see on the right-hand side. So, and as a result of that, ocean climate nexus was one of the priorities that we need to tackle too. I mean, many of the ECOPs Asia are working on the ocean climate nexus and still feel like this is one of the biggest challenges. That is one of the biggest lack that our effort is, still working on. And as a one of the concrete example, ECOP China is leading one rigid agenda, which is a declaration on ocean negative carbon emissions for our ocean and future. So that is a overview of ECOP Asia as a regional node. And here I will be speaking about ECOP Japan as a national node. So here is a symbol of ECOP Japan. This is a torii, Japanese traditional gate, built in the sea. So I have a bit nerdy story to tell about this symbol, but I will keep it for the sake of time saving. So our aim is facilitating casual network across fields and sectors relating to the ocean. So we are putting heavy weight on this networking activity within the activity of national node. This is because we recognize that one of the biggest challenges in our country, in Japan, is so-called silos within each sectors. Japan is an island country, so we have very long history about fisheries, maritime transportation, leisures, cultures, and so on. And they are doing amazing jobs, amazing work in each sectors, but the interaction between those sectors are not necessarily always smooth. So we wanted to break the silo. We wanted to connect those silos so that we can have new value, new innovation out of those activities. So that's why we are putting effort on this networking activity. And the reason why I emphasize this casual, because at the same time, we wanted to lower the barrier to participate in this ECOP activity. So we won't put any, deadlines or like hard agenda and so on. So if you are working in like anything related to the ocean, and if you identify yourself as an early career person, you are more than welcome to join. And there you would be able to find something that you can contribute potentially. And at the same time, we are trying to collect the voice of ECOPs in Japan and delivering them to decision makers. That one tangible activity of that is, like I talked, we carried out this online survey to collect the needs and publish that report online. And here is the beautiful coordinators that I am also working in for moving this ECOP Japan forward. Here is a list of activities of ECOP Japan. As I mentioned, we are putting huge effort to the networking activity across the sector. So throughout those activities, we have been inviting several sector people, and not only from scientists. The invited range from the private sector, startups, fisher folks on the ground, cleanup NGO, our government people, and so on. So we are trying to expand that network as much as possible. And on the right-hand side, we've created the poster messaging "Let's Connect by the Ocean," which is a philosophy of ECOP Japan National Node. Here is the ways forward that we are thinking. We are trying to mainstream ocean climate literacy in Asia, and as a result of our activity, as a result of our assessment of the needs, we identified that many ECOPs are working in specifically blue carbon. So we are thinking about developing dedicated working group of the blue carbon as well. Within this ECOP Asia regional node, we see some gaps between, for example, East Asia and other regions. So transfer of technology and access to critical infrastructures would be definitely one thing that we need to think about. And we try to disseminate information about funding, training, and job position. And again, we try to expand networks across and within national nodes. So we are, as I introduced, ECOP Japan is trying to now expand this network of networks within Japan. But in near future, we would love to create a bridge between Japan and other countries in Asia too. So that is what we are aiming now. And also, like I mentioned too, we are trying to outreach to non-science communities. So I will be stopping talking now with leaving those QR codes of our social media so that you can scan and visit those. I forgot to click this. So now you can scan those QR codes and visit those social media. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Kotaro. And now we will go from Asia to Africa, and we will hear from our online speaker. Sarah, can you hear us? Welcome, Sarah. Hi, Sarah, nice to see you. Sarah is our Africa Node coordinator. She's based in South Africa. Sarah has expertise in marine biodiversity and conservation, and she's currently working as a postdoctoral fellow at the University of Cape Town, and she's our Africa Node coordinator. Sarah, over to you, and I'll be moving the slides for you, so let me know. Sarah, just a second, we can't hear you.
Hi, you can hear me now?
Okay, Sarah, can you try again?
Hi, can you hear me?
Perfect.
Yes? Can you hear me now?
Yeah, Sarah, we can hear you. All good.
Good, thank you. All right, thank you so much, Virginia. Can you just put on my slides and then we can start the presentation. So today I'm gonna just introduce briefly the ECOP Africa node, and we're gonna go showcase some of the activities that our node have accomplished towards capacity development in the last few years, and also the way forward that we are at the developmental stage of conceptualizing a capacity development hub for the ECOP Africa node. And that's all in keeping in mind that we would like to contribute towards a long-term pathway towards capacity development in climate change adaptation and ocean sustainability. Next slide, please. So as all we know, our African oceans is one of the richest oceans that we have on Earth. We are surrounded by 3 main oceans, 2 main seas, and we have a huge coastline that provides a wide range of resources and ecosystem services at a global scale. Thus, because we have one of the main unique marine environments, we comprise one of the biggest global hotspots in biodiversity and conservation. Next, please. Our relationship of our African people with the ocean is very intimate, because not only we depend of the oceans for livelihood and food security, but we also depend for our own socio-economic development. And also, more importantly, we have an intimate relationship with the ocean related to our cultural heritage, our religious influence, and also our own cultural identity of our communities across the continent. Next, please. So climate change in Africa and the effects of climate change and positive impacts and negative impacts is not very different for all the countries in all the continents. We have some of the predicted impacts would be frequent and intense extreme weather, temperature, flooding, and sea level rise, as we can see more recently in Mozambique through this photo on the screen. Next. Keep in mind that our continent comprises one of the most highly heterogenic continent of the earth. We established our node that we like to have an objective to enhance the capacity and provide opportunities for ECOPs in the African context, given that we have differences in political capacity, economic, and also cultural differences across the continent, and we need like to address towards to get our commitment with the Ocean Decade. So nowadays, our network within the ECOP African node comprises more than 1,300 members on the global registry from 45 countries, African countries. We have 11 established national nodes, and our current structure comprises 5 sub-regional nodes, 2 test teams, which represents the communication media and fundraising teams, and 2 hubs that are about to be launched now in December. One is the Ocean Literacy Hub, and the second one that I'm going to talk about it today is the Capacity Development Hub. Next. In terms of the capacity development that we want for our node, we have participated actively in the preparation of reports related to capacity development. And all these reports have in common that investment in capacity building ocean-related sciences in Africa is imperative. Next. Within our own survey that we conducted in 2023, some of the respondents of our survey of the ECOP Africa node highlighted some challenges, needs, and possible solutions towards capacity development. Some of the challenges that the respondents highlighted were that we have a limited research funding, job scarcity in ocean-related professions, and limited training and mentorships. So the way forward, according to that, is to invest in workshops and training opportunities like webinars, workshops, conference participations, support to ocean startups, also provide a wide range of scholarships and research funding projects, direct projects related to different fields in the ocean sciences. So basically, the solution that we would have is to provide funding and supports like equipment and facilities, not only to the coastal countries of Africa, but also to inland countries, so we can enable and equalize opportunities for all. Next, please. So some of the solutions within our node that we found out was to provide webinars and online workshops in partnership with different institutions, such as in Blue Economy with GOGME, Ocean Data Analysis with Ocean Teacher Global Academy, Ocean Governance with ROI, and more recently, like Virginia has just showed, the Aquatech Biotech Group, on ocean data and management. Next. At the national level, within the national nodes, the initiatives have been quite active from our national coordinators and core team, such as the ECOP Kenya, ECOP Mozambique, and a joint initiatives from Liberia and Kenya provide webinars in their home language, so they can reach out to the local members of the network in specific subjects related to ocean sciences. Next, please. And now we also have established initiative to contribute to the transparency of ocean opportunities for ECOP in Africa with the Blue Horizon series, organized by Sophie Larissa and Samuel Borman. And these, you can also access these opportunities. We are always up-to-dating in our website. When you have a chance, please check. And more recently, ECOP Cameroon came now with a very nice idea, which is to establish a grant, an award for theses related to ocean sciences. Next, please. Although we have a regional node that's one of the biggest within the ECOP Africa ECOP program, our capacity development scenario is quite complex because we have basically acted isolated because our national nodes are working independently. And we see that these activities related to capacity development, they are quite infrequent. with consistency on how many times annually we're gonna have these activities going on, and that's because basically the national core team depends on their own availability and their own expertise for involvement with that. Because they are working unilaterally, there is a lack on discussion and synergies with the available academic and scientific institutions within the continent. And more importantly, that's I would like to highlight is that all the initiatives or our national nodes especially are at a volunteer basis. So then the time and the efforts, it's basically on a volunteer pro bono basis. Next, please. So in order to address that, we came out with the conceptualization of the capacity development hub within the ECOP Africa node. We want to bridge together our members, our possible partners in science and business, and the sponsors. Next, please. So the capacity development hub is, like I said, it's under conceptualization, but our mission would be to provide quality capacity development for all, independent if it's within sciences or like a business or the professional fields within the ocean-related subjects. The vision is that we provide a platform where we can bridge science, business, and organizations to provide opportunities for professionals in Africa. The objective will be then provide dedicated and frequent in-person training, especially for our members, to facilitate collaborating multidisciplinary partnerships with the available African research institutions and business and organizations, and of course accelerate information sharing about professional opportunities and recruitment within Africa. Next, please. As a node, our role will be to try to implement three main principles, and one of the principles would be to highlight and conduct needs assessments to understand the priorities within the ocean sciences for our members. The second principle would be to facilitate an exchange and mobilization of resources, human and structural resources, among different organizations in Africa that currently exist, so they can share the different facilities, the different personnel towards this capacity development aim. And secondly, of course, it's that we guarantee that all these highly professional members of our network also stayed in Africa, so they can have opportunities to share the knowledge and expertise at the long term. And we, of course, we avoid what we are having today, which is the African scientific diaspora. We believe that if we keep our highly qualified professionals in our country, the contribution towards ocean sustainability will be much more impactful. Next, please. So the beneficiaries of this hub would be, besides our members, of course, academia and business and NGOs, of course. And currently we have a few partners, which is GOGMI from Ghana, the Ocean Teacher Global Academy, Cape Forest Foundation, and Mohammed VI Foundation for the Environmental Protection. We are open to new partners, of course. And for now, I would like to highlight that we're going to have our first Ocean Annual Fair, where we're going to launch the Capacity Development Hub area, welcome new partners and sponsors to become part of this initiative. Next, please. At this stage, we have targeted 4 teammate programs within the hub, which will be climate change adaptation, blue economy, ocean entrepreneurship, and ocean innovation. Next. So like I said, if you really would like to become part of the initiative, we are very open to discussion, and we would like to, of course, to improve our concept note in this hub. We think that open discussion with different stakeholders, not only within between our members of the ECOP Africa node, it would be ideal to trace some strategies towards capacity development in ocean science. We want to actually improve the regional CDR, which is the Capacity Development Index for Africa for long term, and of course provide this cross-generational capacity, so we make sure the knowledge sharing stays in Africa and they are implemented actively by providing science-based decision making for our government, especially for policy and of course provide an efficient adaptation capacity for our communities and our society in general. We would like to have any kinds of support which range from in-kind support such as catering, printing materials, facilities, access, partnerships with research and universities that we can try to trace some collaborative projects or provide develop joint grant applications towards capacity building initiatives, and of course sponsorships, especially in terms of providing honorarium for our national coordinators and hubs coordinators. Like I said, they are at the moment working at a volunteer basis. Also, the other sponsorships I would like to get is funding opportunities for event attendance and event organization within the hub and our node, and of course other types of supports like training implementation, materials development, and so on. Next, please. Thank you so much. Well, I would like to invite you all to follow us on our social media, especially on LinkedIn. Visit our website for more detailed information about our node and our current initiatives and activities, to get to know our national coordinators who have been doing a brilliant work and dedicate their time and efforts towards to get this goal together on the Ocean Decade initiative. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Sarah. Thank you for this very comprehensive conversation. Thank you.
Thank you.
So with this, we'd love to continue this discussion on the stage, and I would like to invite back to the stage Kotaro and two of our partners that will join us for the panel discussion. So it's my great pleasure to invite here Eugenia Barroca and Anita Thar. Please take your seats here. Eugenia is a regional representative for Lusophonia and for Europe from SOA. She's a marine biologist and a consultant for SOA, and she's ambassador for the Blue School program. And Anita is based in Russia, and she's developing the international cooperation for the Lomonosov Moscow State University Marine Research Center, and deals with marine research in Arctic and Far Eastern seas. So I will join the panel as well to discuss some of the new aspects of capacity development. Can you hear me? All good? Great. So I would love then to start with, Eugenia. Welcome. We've been walking around, obviously, as you have, and I can say that I see a lot of youth climate coalitions, platforms. Like, really, it seems like there is a lot of engagement of youth at this COP, and this is the first COP for us, so we can't say whether it has increased since last time, but there is really a lot of youth. There is a children and youth pavilion, right? So Eugenia, I know that SOA has been really working a lot with policy and engagement of youth. But still, I think that oceans are not really playing that big part in the climate discussions, right? So what is your take on this, and how can we increase the portion of oceans in these climate discussions? And maybe you can start with just briefly telling us what SOA is doing, so that the audience can have a better understanding. Thank you.
Thank you very much first for the invitation as well. You can hear me well? Yeah. And for the opportunity to be here. So just as a brief introduction about what is SOA and Sustainable Ocean Alliance. So we are NGO based at the United States, but we act globally. And our focus is to activate youth development and implement innovative solutions and mobilize this global movement of young ocean leaders that are committed to restore ocean health in our lifetime. And through that, and in terms of the capacity development, the topic that brought us here today, So throughout these last 10 years of action, we have already capacitated more than 7,000 young ocean leaders in more than 186 countries. From those, when they really want to be more active with their communities, they can join or start an SUA hub. And currently we have 96 SUA hubs in 63 different countries. Then we fundraise and distribute grants, like funding opportunities for them to implement these projects and grassroots community-based actions. That we have been already distributed almost 400 grants throughout these years. And the main impact areas that we have been focusing are 5. So one, blue carbon, to marine pollution, blue foods, ecosystems and species, conservation and restoration, and lastly, but definitely not least, ocean literacy, data and research. Besides this, we also try to be active in policy, and the main policy campaign that we have been dedicating and actually having big results globally has been the Stop Deep Sea Mining campaign. That throughout the 5 years of work we did, we engaged hundreds of young ocean leaders. They created dialogues with their governments and were able to change, even to support the change of positions of the governments to defend a moratorium or a precautionary pause to deep sea mining. And we are now finishing the development of a course that is Stop Deep Sea Mining course, that the idea is to take to the next level and to capacitate even more youth around the world. And we count with the expertise like Diva Amon, Lisa Levine and Alex Rogers. We have other opportunities like mentorship and scholarships, conferences and so on. I'm happy to explain further if anyone is interested. But answering to the question you made, that's definitely true, and I think that's exactly why probably all of us here are present here at COP, right, to bring this ocean climate nexus. And from our youth delegates at COP, they come from different backgrounds, so from communications to science, policy, and even entrepreneurship. And our goal is, as we are as one of the primary organizations, youth center, and working in this ocean climate nexus at UNFCCC. We play this active role showcasing the youth engagement and creating as well this dialogue that the youth is making with the delegations to bring the ocean-based climate solutions to the center of the discussions, as well with the big aim to integrate them in NDCs. So that's a big goal that we have here at COP29, to bring this dialogue and make the delegations to advocate, now that we have this deadline for February 2025 to deliver the national determined contributions, the NDCs. We've been trying to create these dialogues in some high levels, in a top list of our hubs, because not all the 63 countries, but those hubs that are more with better connections with the government, we are supporting them and capacitating them to do that. Besides that, we have some young ocean leaders that are already with experience in tracking negotiations, and they have been supporting us on that, and also giving mentorship and sharing their knowledge with the other youth that is present here. And the idea is that after COP, we also expand this knowledge transmission through the rest of the global network. And we have been in COP, we have been involved mostly since COP25 in Madrid, Spain. It was basically when SOA started to send a delegation and of staff and young ocean leaders. And we have been contributing to the Marrakesh Partnership for Global Action for Global Climate Action Ocean and the Coastal Zones Climate Action Pathway. And also, through that, we are giving a seat at the table in decision-making processes of youth in the development of key policies and strategies, such as the Breakthrough and the Coastal Tourism Breakthrough. So basically it's this, and beside this, we have a lot of hubs engaged in the LCOIs and the RCOIs, and we are also here with a big goal to set the ground for COP30. And as I'm the regional representative for Europe and Lusophonia, that are the Portuguese-speaking countries, we have a big community in Brazil that are actually now, a lot of them attending the G20 meetings. So it's good that we are a global organization, so we can split and conquer, as I usually say, and be in different places. But the idea here is that we set the ground for COP30 to have even more results, because let's see what will come out of this COP.
Thank you so much. That's really great. So with that in mind, talking about international cooperation and participation in international conferences and summits, I would like to turn to Anita. So I know you're doing a lot of work in terms of science diplomacy and international cooperation. So I would love to hear your opinion about the role of science policy and how science can play a part in international cooperation, international collaboration.
Thank you, Eugenia, for the great introduction of mine. Yeah, let me just say a little bit about the company which I'm representing here. Actually, the company is dealing with marine research, right? So Marine Research Center it is. So what we are doing is we are a Russia-based company which deals with the monitoring and management of the Arctic activities. So in these terms, since we are representing the research and development as well the business entity, so we are evolving our services in terms of hydrometeorology service, in terms of sustainable shipping, in terms of the environmental monitoring, in terms of the, let's say, digitalization. Yes, so basically we're applying the artificial intelligence on the, let's say, Arctic marine surface behavior. We're analyzing and making the forecast in these terms. So we are also working on the biodiversity conservation. So almost every marine research aspect in there is in our responsibility here. So yeah, we're actively collaborating with the Arctic Council in terms of the science, and yeah, speaking about the scientific diplomacy. So here it is a very important thing that being a company, we are still developing the scientific diplomacy in terms of connecting the stakeholders within the, let's say, Arctic activities. So basically that's the government, that's the business, this the academia, this the civil society, yes, and therefore we are becoming this action platform for the sustainable development, for the better future of the Arctic region. So speaking further about the new, let's say, platforms existing nowadays in terms of the cooperation, scientific cooperation, I would say that currently there is a very popular of the three poles coexisting, right? In terms of the rapidly changing of the climate change, right? So here let's say we're having three poles, like the North Pole, the South Pole, and the Himalayan glaciers, right? So for this reason, having all of that in common as a comprehensive overview of the global climate change, we would say that the BRICS, yes, as the countries which are actually encompassing all of these three poles, is, I would say, one of the emerging platforms to develop that scientific diplomacy. So therefore, I would say that they are not only developing the, let's say, professional academics, yes, but also they are providing the opportunities for the youngsters, yes, for the capacity building on the youth in terms of the ecology, in terms of the marine research, in terms of the environmental monitoring, and so on and so forth. And basically, they are quite active on that field. For example, they had established, the BRICS established the working group on the polar science and technology collaboration. Yes, they had provided the opportunities for establishing the Congress on ecology and climate change and the issues related to the world ocean, and therefore there is also a part which is related to the youth capacity building. So quite a lot actually is going on, and let's say my personal output within this scientific diplomacy is that the youth has to develop their insights in terms of this comprehensive overview of the whole situation, right? I've been speaking about that the scientific diplomacy unites business, science, government, civil society. Yeah, that term, yes. Another thing that we are trying to, we need to look at the global climate change in terms of the three poles, right? South, north poles, and Himalayan glaciers. Okay, because it's not only the ice melting; it's also about the absorption of the sun. Yes, it's global warming increasing, and as well, it is the let's say the water, the pure water, which is becoming more absent in terms of the, if we speak about the Himalayan glaciers, right? So quite a lot things to deal with and to overview, and we've got to maintain that comprehensive overview. So this is my, I would say, the wish to the youth. Just please be consistent with this comprehensive approach here. Thank you.
Thank you. I think this is really a very interesting aspect of capacity development, right? That's maybe not so much spoken about at conferences. So I'd just like to get back to this slide. So we were just brainstorming about various aspects of capacity development, right? So we were talking about engagement of youth at international fora and international cooperation, science diplomacy, obviously funding. So we think that all of these are very valuable aspects of capacity development. So it's not only the conversation about trainings, courses, etc. So we need to really think about all of that as a whole, right? So with this in mind, we have only 5 minutes. I would love to hear any questions from the audience if we have any.
Thank you. Very interesting discussions, and the expectation that we have to the ECOP, for instance, is really to develop science or evidence-based policy recommendations. And for that, we sometimes, confront this precautionary principle that we don't know yet the concrete scientific outcome, but at the same time, we probably need to safeguard the environment and socioeconomic conditions on the ground that we really need to make sure the long-term sustainability. So I just wondered how you have any example where the precautionary principle is actually given a priority in the context of this scientific or evidence-based policy analysis for sustainable ocean.
Gadaro, maybe you want to reply to this? Sorry, my voice is very weird.
Yes, I will try. We are all aware of investing science to for example assess the potential environmental assessment at the initial stage is important, but this is not directly answering to your question. But at the same time, I accidentally attended one session in different conference, which is saying we don't climate change is solely caused by this fossil fuel thing, so we don't even have to invest science into, for example, climate interventions, because this is, by the word, this is sort of not we really want to do right at the moment. This is using the required investment into the different field. So that was shocking moment for me, because I recognize that investing science is a core shared idea, core shared recognition of our community. But at the same time, I was aware of that kind of stance, but there as well. So we need to think about how we can form the narration to invest the science, to promote the science, to deal with that precautionary approach, to deal with this so-called controversial area. That is also how we can ECOP program can contribute to how our networking and communication activity is contributing to. That is my answer.
Thank you, and thank you very much for the question.
Yeah, I know funding has been a main theme of a barrier for all of you. I'm curious to hear a little bit more about, what specifically are the barriers to getting that funding? Is it, availability of grants that you are eligible for? Is it technical assistance for applying to grants? What barriers have you run into when searching for funding?
Yeah, Eugene, you want to go first?
Thank you. I'll just start by saying something really related with what we are doing here. For example, a big barrier that we have been having is for funders to want to fund conference scholarships. So to send youth, to this type of conferences, and not only even UN Ocean Conference and others, even scientific conference and so on. That's what I identify as a big challenger, even on the deep sea mining campaign, that in terms of policy has been the one that until the moment SOA was able to fundraise the most. That's why we had a better impact, because it's always related, obviously. And still, there is a bit of hesitance from the funders that we have been having on that the funds are applied in that. Usually the grants model is much more preferred from the funders we have been connecting with. But so I believe it's a bit on the terms of how the youth can really have an impact, and how these funds will translate in different impacts in the negotiations and events.
Thank you for the question. That's really a very important one. So with this, we need to wrap up, but I think we are very happy to stay and continue this conversation after the event. So thank you so much for all your attendance, and let's give a round of applause to our wonderful speakers and Sarah, who joined us online. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
We'll be happy to stay here and talk to you. Thanks a lot for your interest.